Hey, it's Shane the Creative, and welcome to my video. So, this was not the video I was hoping to make as my comeback to posting again, but quite frankly, this is some shit that I need to get off my chest because I'm tired. I'm real tired. I'm real fed up. So as you could probably tell from the title and or the thumbnail, we are going to be discussing not necessarily the release of the Netflix series Jeffery Dahmer the Monster, but more so the response and the type of feedback I'm seeing online. That's the part that's really got me bothered. The shit that I've been seeing. And like I said, I did not intend on making this video, but this is some shit that needs to be said. So excuse this video not being lighthearted and kind of being discombobulated and just all over the place. This is just a quick little rant. Hopefully I'll make it quick, but I just got some points and some shit that I feel like needs to be said. Let's just get straight into it. So the TV show I'm referring to is, like I said, Jeffery Dahmer the Monster series. I believe it's either number 1 or number 2 in the most viewed Netflix original show currently. So of course, with it being that popular, lots of people are taking to social media to discuss it. But the thing that is bothering me is not only the lack of respect towards the victims of Dahmer, not even just lack of respect, the lack of attention, which I'm going to get into because the creators of this show claim that they want to more so focus on the victims rather than Dahmer. From what I've seen, they did not accomplish that. They could have did so much fucking better. Besides the lack of respect towards the victims, the way that people are making light of the victim's death, and not even making light, because it's one thing to make light of a fucked up situation, to make light of a tragedy. I've literally been seeing memes and jokes at the expense of Dahmer's victims, and that's really bothersome. It really is. And I find it really fucking, not ironic, but it's telling. It's very telling how easy it is for people to make memes and make jokes and make mockery out of the tragic deaths of majority black queer men, black gay men, because majority of his victims were black gay men. It's not lost on me that it's so easy for y'all to mock their tragic deaths. And it just reassures what I already knew, that y'all really don't give a fuck about black queer people at all. And it's really showing from the way y'all could just so easily memify this show and its victims as if this isn't a real life fucking person, as if this show isn't based upon a real life person who took real lives, who really did all this sick shit to these boys, to these men. Some of them were fucking children. But it's just so easy for you niggas to get online and making memes and jokes. It's sickening. It's sickening, to say the least. And this is the reason why Dahmer was able to get away with targeting these type of people, because he knows that people don't give a fuck about black queer people. He knew that. Just like how there's, even to this day, within the past couple of years, there have been stories of serial killers targeting sex workers or targeting people experiencing homelessness. That's because they know that people do not give a fuck about their lives. They know that the police don't give a fuck about making them a priority in their life. And it's just like, you would never catch these same people that's making jokes about these victims in this show, making these type of jokes if the victims were majority of white women, or if the victims were black cis-het men. Just like how people were upset when the trifling ass racist motherfuckers got online and would make jokes about George Floyd, other black people have had their lives taken by the police, just like how it's upsetting and it's an issue when those racist motherfuckers do it because it's disrespectful and it's sick. It's the same way for this. But niggas don't want to acknowledge that. And that just goes to show how much y'all don't value black, queer lives. And it's the same shit, just like how we say that the police don't value the lives of people of color, of black people, where they can so easily put a bullet inside of a child for something as small as them possibly stealing a candy bar from the fucking liquor store, where your first instinct is to shoot to kill, but you could safely transport a fucking white mass shooter who just took the lives of 20 people, 20 innocent civilians, but y'all could escort them safely and alive. It's the same type of shit. I don't see value in black queer lives, which is why it's so easy for y'all to make fucking jokes and make a mockery of their deaths. Y'all lack the empathy to actually see how fucking dehumanized and how disrespectful it is to go around making jokes as if these weren't real life people, as if their families aren't still around, affected by the shit that Dahmer did, affected by the fact that he took their loved ones in such sadistic fucking ways at that. But like I said, let it have been a serial killer doing the same shit to white women, you wouldn't see people going up on fucking Twitter making memes and jokes about it. Let this have been some police officer targeting black people, black men specifically, you wouldn't see people so easily making light and fucking jokes out of it, because it's not funny. That shit is fucked up. Y'all get that though. Y'all get that when it comes to certain victims, like white women, white people, white kids, black cishet men. But when it's black gay niggas, when it's queer black men, that's when, oh, y'all could just go ahead and pass. It's cool. It's cool to make light out of their deaths. It's cool to make jokes, even though this sick fuck literally targeted majority of black queers. That's okay though. That's okay. The homophobia within the black community is really popping out. While we're on this topic, let's talk about why do y'all keep giving this fucking man adaptations to tell the same story over and over again? Like, literally, Jeffrey Dahmer had at the very least 9 different adaptations that showcasing stories about him and his killings. What the fuck is up with that? Why do we need so many TV shows, so many movies telling the same fucking story? And I saw that the creators of this show, that they said they want to focus more so on the victims rather than Dahmer. That's not what it gave. That's not what I'm seeing people who watched the full series. I tried to watch the show, at least the very first episode, and even that was too bothersome for me. And I'm somebody that very much indulge into true crime. I feel like there's a way to do it, which I'm going to get into that later in this little rant. But like I said, from what I'm hearing, and there's even family members of the victims that said, please stop. Please stop retelling these same fucking stories. Just stop. It's not causing us any good. It's not doing nothing but revisiting our trauma. So why the fuck are we still making movies and TV shows? He literally just had a movie a couple years ago about him that came out. What the fuck was the need for this show? And it's not like they're redistributing all the money, all the millions of fucking dollars they're making from this show. It's not like they're giving it out to the families. It's not like they're donating it to foundations or any of that type of shit. So what's your reason? Like I said, it's so easy to be constantly retelling this story of this white man who targeted queer people of color, most of them black, and where he did some of the most sickest and sadistic shit a human being can do to another human being. Why is that y'all go to let's go capitalize off of it. Let's create another fucking movie off of it. It's sick. It's sick. That's why y'all in the same boat. The people that create these type of shows, the people that continue trying to tell this nigga story, y'all are in the same fucking boat to me as the people that's going online making memes and jokes about the fucking victims. Y'all don't give a fuck. Y'all really don't. Y'all just want to cash out on Dahmer's story, not even the victims. Y'all want to cash out on Dahmer's story and capitalize off of it. That's what it is. So y'all willing to continue to disrespect the wishes, even if it's just one victim's family. That's like, I'm not okay with this. You should still fucking respect that. So y'all willing to disrespect the wishes of the victims' families. You know, the ones who are the most affected from the shit that Dahmer did. Y'all willing to completely disregard and disrespect that just to capitalize off of his polarizing killings, off of his polarizing story. Yeah, trash. And like I said, I personally indulge into a lot of true crime content, specifically more so on YouTube or like documentaries, stuff like that. And I feel like there's been some discourse and conversations over the past year or two talking about true crime content and everything, and just the ethical practices of it. And personally, I feel like there's a way to cover true crime content in a respectful manner, because like I said, these are real life people, real life victims, people who really lost their lives. So there's a way to cover them in a respectful manner, which this is a whole nother conversation for another time. But there are lots of content creators, specifically on YouTube, that I feel like do not cover cases in a respectful manner. So I don't watch them. I don't indulge in them. The few people that regularly indulge in, like Stephanie Harlow and Kendall Ray and like the Mile Higher podcast, they not only do they touch on the topic in a respectful way, but they also, rather than just telling the story of the serial killer, the murderer, and whatnot, they actually spend some time to focus in on the victim and their life before their death, which is another issue that I have with certain, whether it's content creators or producer, director, creators, writers that's writing these movies and shows based off of these real life crime cases. It's like, I get it, where you're talking about this serial killer, so of course you're gonna have to spend time focus on them, but it wouldn't fucking hurt to put in that extra work to focus in on the victims, you know, the people whose lives they took, who stories also matter, to focus in on them. That's my main issue with true crime content, is when it focuses too much on the perpetrator rather than focusing on the victims. And shit like this, especially when it comes to Jeffrey Dahmer, it very much feels like glorification. Like I said, why does this man have so many fucking adaptations telling the same fucking stories? And it's like, I can guarantee you that none of these fucking adaptations focus more in on his victims rather than his killing. Now, I must say, I haven't watched every fucking single adaptation. I haven't seen most of the ones that I'm mentioning, so I could be wrong. But there's a good chance, there's a good ass fucking chance that I'm not. And that's an issue. That's a real fucking issue. And another big issue I'm seeing now is it's time for me to get on the fucking weirdos, the fucking creeps who are going out their way to romanticize and sexualize and like make fan cams and shit of Evan Peters playing Dahmer specifically. Because y'all wasn't making these fan cams and shit isn't about Evan Peters or any of the multiple roles that he played. You're specifically doing it for the Dahmer role that he's played and making fucking fan cams and romanticizing scenes of him and shit, and it makes me sick. Literally was just scrolling on Instagram, looking at some drawings when I came across a fucking fan edit of Jeffrey Dahmer, a clip from the show. What the fuck? What the fuck is wrong with you people? As if this isn't based upon a real life man who real life did this sick shit to people. Yet y'all over here like, what the? Something's got to be off. What's going on up there in y'all heads? Like it's fucking weird. It's really fucking weird. And like I said, it's one thing to lust over Evan Peters or whatever, but like y'all are specifically taking this role where he played this fucking serial killer who killed black queer people, who killed kids. Pretty sure Dahmer's youngest victim was 14. A fucking pedophile. A cannibalistic, sadistic, murdering pedophile. This is who y'all making fan cams of? This role? The fuck is wrong with y'all? It's really just, I'm tired. It's the disrespect. It's the lack of empathy. It's the lack of empathy and attention and respect towards these victims. It's the glorification, the romanticizing towards Dahmer. It's all of that. I'm fucking tired and I'm fucking sick. So like I said, wasn't even intending on making any type of video or anything talking about this fucking show. I still plan to make a post on Instagram where I showcase the victims and just a little something, some sort of remembrance type of post. Because literally the only thing you're hearing about is Dahmer and his show and it being one of the most popular shows on Netflix. And just talk about all the sick shit he's done. Nobody's taking the time to talk about the victims, to talk about their lives before their tragic end. So I at the very least want to do that. But besides making that Instagram post, I did not want to talk about this shit because it was too bothersome. It was too bothering for me. And like I said, somebody who indulge in true crime content regularly, there's just certain cases that I'm just not in the mental or emotional mindset to indulge in. Like there's certain cases that specifically involve, or it's this one case that a YouTuber that I said that creates true crime content that she covered where a black child was harmed. Like I couldn't watch it. I just can't. Because I can't. That shit hits too close to home for me. That shit affects me even more than these other cases that I indulge in, where I tend to find myself getting caught up in and emotional about already. So it's like shit like this that hit too close to home. I just can't. I can't. So this fucking show about this sicko who targeted mostly black queer men and did some sick shit. I couldn't. Even though with the trailer of this, and I remember seeing the trailer of this, I was like, oh, it looks like they're more so taking the time to focus on the fact of how the victims were neglected, specifically by the police force, who could help prevent more victims, but they didn't take this shit seriously. So I was like, okay, I'll try to get into it. Like I said, I watched episode 1, and that was just too much for me. I couldn't. And then seeing the stuff about the victim's family not being for this, like completely being against this show, and them recreating the same story and just making money off of this shit that, like I said, it's not like it's being distributed to these families or any organizations or anything like that. So it's like, I can't. I just can't. So yeah, that's probably about everything that I wanted to rant about, get off my chest. Yeah, if you made this far, bless you, bless your heart. Thanks for tuning in, sticking in for this long. Like I said, this me mostly ranting. I do plan on creating content, like my more lighthearted content where I'm talking about movies and TV shows and have having my videos edited and whatnot. But this, I just needed to get this shit off my chest because it's been bothering me. It's making me I'm fucking sick and tired. I'm so tired. I'm so tired of it.